This is a third video in the series of ecology and environment, and in this video we will cover topics such as wetlands, mangroves and coral reefs. Under this, we will define what are wetlands, mangroves and coral reefs, what are their significance, what are the threats they are facing, and what are the conservation measures have been taken by the government. So before starting of the video, we should go through the previous year questions based on the above topics. So in this, the question is related to Ramsar Convention. Then the basic about the coral reefs have been asked. Then they have asked what are Montreux Record and what are Wetland International. And then they have asked about the location of coral reefs in India. So if we go through the previous year questions, then we can infer that the questions are mainly related to the basic concepts of coral reefs, wetlands and mangroves, and what are the conservation measures have been taken by the government or in the international perspective. So now moving to the first topic, wetlands. So the first is, what is the definition of wetlands? Ramsar Convention. This we will read later in the video. Ramsar Convention defines wetlands as areas of marsh, peatland or water, whether natural or artificial, permanent or temporary, with water static or flowing, with fresh water or salt water, including areas of marine water, the depth of which at low tides does not exceed 6 meters. So the definition of wetlands are very vast. So अगर हम वेटलैंड की बेसिक डेफिनेशन को समझने की कोशिश करें जो हम आसपास की चीजों में देखते हैं, तो इट इज मेनली अ मार्शी एरिया जहां पे वाटर परमानेंटली रहता है, चाहे वो स्टैग्नेंट हो, चाहे फ्लोइंग हो, चाहे नेचुरल हो, चाहे आर्टिफिशियल हो, लेकिन वहां पे पानी पूरे समय रहेगा और इट इज ए मार्शी एरिया. सो नाउ मूविंग टू व्हाट आर द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ वेटलैंड्स. वेटलैंड्स आर वन ऑफ द मोस्ट प्रोडक्टिव बायोम्स and it has socio-economic and ecological importance. So the first is it provides habitat for aquatic flora and fauna as well as of migratory birds. Second is it provides fresh water supply as it carry out water purification, filtration of sediments and nutrients from surface water. It provides tourism also, food and building material, flood mitigation, helps in nutrient recycling and groundwater recharging, buffer shorelines against erosion and pollutants, act as genetic reservoir for various species of plant, especially rice, and it helps in climate change mitigation. So importance of wetlands are that they provide habitat, fresh water supply, tourism, helps in groundwater recharging, buffer shorelines against erosion and pollutants, and helps in climate change and flood mitigation. But now, due to development, due to economic activities and due to reclamation of land, wetland ecosystem is under threat. So the threats have been divided in biotic threat and abiotic. Biotic threat includes uncontrolled siltation, discharge of wastewater, industrial effluents. So if the pollution level is increasing in the wetland, then it will not be able to filter as per its capacity. So the wetland water will become more pollutant and it will not be able to support the habitat for different aquatic flora and fauna. Then deforestation and soil erosion is also affecting the wetland ecosystem, and due to growth of tourist sector or for the formation of roads, that is leading to habitat destruction. An abiotic threat includes weed infestation and encroachment, which is leading to shrinkage of area of wetlands. Then the man-made pressures are increasing, which are leading to habitat destruction and loss of biodiversity. Then uncontrolled dredging resulting in successional changes and hydrological intervention resulting in loss of aquifers. So it is not able to filter the water as well as not able to support in flood mitigation. So due to these threats, the wetland ecosystem is decreasing, and at the international level, a Ramsar Convention have been signed, which is mainly for the conservation of wetlands. So it is an intergovernmental treaty with more than 150 members that deals with conservation aspects of inland waters and near shore coastal waters. Mainly it is a voluntary system and does not impose restriction on nations and landowners. So This is the important thing which can be asked in the examination, and it is named after the city of Ramsar in Iran, where the convention has been signed in 1971 and came into force in 1975. India has joined the convention in 1982, and under the convention, when a nation joins a Ramsar convention, so उसको एक wetland site को wetland of international importance announce करना पड़ता है और Ramsar site. So in 1981, Chilka Lake in Odisha was designated as first Indian wetland of international importance under Ramsar Convention. But now the question arises, what are the advantages of joining the Ramsar Convention? So if a nation declares any wetland as of international importance, then it elevates the importance of the site at the international level, encourages international cooperation for its conservation, brings access to expert advice and latest information, and provides an opportunity for learning the best global practices for wise use of wetlands. And it gets the opportunity for international guidelines and represent a contribution to global environmental protection and maintenance of global biodiversity. So these are the advantages of joining Ramsar Convention. Now the important thing is Ramsar Convention works closely with 6 other organizations, which are known as international organization partners. So in the examination, the name of the organization can be asked. So the first is BirdLife International. As the name suggests, obviously it will conserve birds, their habitats and global biodiversity. The second is IUCN. We all know that IUCN is a organization working for the conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. And IUCN declared the Red List, which defines the status of the animals, whether they are of endangered, vulnerable or critically endangered. The third organization is International Water Management Institute. It is a non-profit research organization which focuses on improving how water and land resources should be managed, with the aim of underpinning food security and reducing poverty. Next is Wetlands International. Wetlands International is a global organization that works to sustain and restore wetlands and their resources. It is an independent, not-for-profit global organization. So if we see the previous year question, there has been question asked on Wetland International. So the first statement is, it is an intergovernment organization formed by the countries which are signatories to Ramsar Convention. This statement is wrong, as we have read that Wetland International is a not-for-profit organization. And second, it works at the field level to develop and mobilize knowledge and use the practical experience to advocate for better policies. So this is the right statement, so the answer will be B. Then the other organization is World Wildlife Fund. It is an international non-governmental organization for the preservation of the wildlife. And the last one is International Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust. These are the 6 organizations which work in cooperation with the Ramsar Convention, and the question can be asked on such organizations. Now moving to the next part. Other partners who work for the conservation of wetlands are Convention on Biological Diversity, Convention to Combat Desertification, Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species, World Heritage Convention, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. So in the PDF provided, you can read the objectives of all these conventions, and it can be directly asked in the examination. Now moving to the next topic, what is Montreux Record? Montreux Record is a register of wetland sites on Ramsar list, which are facing immediate challenge. So Montreux Record रामसार साइट्स का ही एक लिस्ट बनाई जाती है जो सबसे ज्यादा थ्रेट में है एंड दे आर फेसिंग इमीडिएट चैलेंज और उनका कंजर्वेशन सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है. सो इट आइडेंटिफाई प्रायोरिटी साइट्स फॉर पॉजिटिव नेशनल एंड इंटरनेशनल कंजर्वेशन अटेंशन. सो इन इंडिया देयर आर 2 Montreux record sites. First is Loktak Lake in Manipur, and it is under threat due to deforestation in catchment area and pollution. And second is Keoladh National Park in Rajasthan, and it is due to water shortage, invasive growth of grass and reducing its suitability for certain water bird species. Invasive growth of grass means क्या होता है, जो ग्रास वहाँ की नेटिव स्पीशीज नहीं है और वो वहाँ के ग्रो कर रही है, तो जो वो नेटिव स्पीशीज को वो साइडलाइन कर देती है और वहाँ के रिसोर्सेज को खुद कंज्यूम करने लगती है, जिसकी वजह से पूरा इकोसिस्टम चेंज हो जाता है. So these are the two Montreux record sites in India. So if we see the previous year question, there has been question on Montreux record also. So it is, if a wetland of international importance is brought under Montreux record, what does it imply? Changes in ecological character have occurred, are occurring, or likely to occur in the wetland as a result of human interference. The country in which wetland is located should enact a law to prohibit any human activity. The survival of the wetland depend on cultural practices and tradition, and it is given the status of World Heritage Site. So as we have read that Montreux record include the list of Ramsar sites which need immediate attention, so the answer will be A. Now in India, the Wetland Conservation and Management Rules 2016 have been launched, as well as 2017. So the highlights of the Wetland Conservation and Management Rule 2017 is the management of wetlands have been decentralized. That is, the power has been given to state government so that protection and conservation of work can be done at local level, and one size fits all does not work in the conservation of wetlands. So the decentralization has been done, but the monitoring will be done by central government, and the states and UTs will set up state and UT wetland authorities, which will be headed by Environment Minister and include other officials and other expert members also. So what will be the function of these committees? This will identify and notify the wetland for protection, develop the comprehensive list of activities which have to be regulated or permitted. क्योंकि अगर हमें पर्टिकुलर एरिया का कंजर्वेशन करना होता है तो वहाँ पे हमें एक्टिविटीज को कंट्रोल करना पड़ता है और ह्यूमन इंटरफेरेंस को कंट्रोल करना पड़ता है, तभी हम उस एरिया का कंजर्वेशन कर सकते हैं. सो जैसे बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व्स में होता है कि 3 पार्ट्स में उसको डिवाइड करा गया है. जैसे कोर, बफर और आउटर एरिया. कोर एरिया में कोई भी एक्टिविटीज अलाउ नहीं होती है ताकि उसका कंजर्वेशन. सिमिलरली इन कमिटीज को भी कुछ एक्टिविटीज को प्रोहिबिट करना पड़ेगा फॉर द कंजर्वेशन ऑफ वेटलैंड्स, एंड विल ऑल्सो नीड टू प्रिपेयर अ लिस्ट ऑफ ऑल वेटलैंड्स ऑफ द स्टेट, एंड देयर विल बी अ नेशनल वेटलैंड कमिटी which will be headed by Ministry of Environment Secretary to monitor the implementation of these rules. As I have told, the power of conservation have been decentralized to state government, but the monitoring power will remain with the central government. So National Wetland Committee have been formed from this. So in this, the setting up of any industry, manufacturing plant, waste dumping, discharge of untreated waste have been prohibited. So you can read the rules in detail from the PDF provided, and this is a picture which have been provided, which includes the prohibited activities within wetlands and India's prominent wetlands and the states in which they are present. So reading of this list is important as this can be asked directly in the exam. Now moving to the next topic, mangroves. Mangroves are the plants which are located between the land and sea, and they are the example of ecotone. As in the first video, I have explained that ecotone is a transition area between two biomes. So in this, first is the land biome, that is the forest biome, and the second is the marine biome. So mangroves lies in between the land and sea, and they act as a transition zone. And mangroves are salt tolerant plants called halophytes, which are adapted to harsh coastal condition of tropical and subtropical intertidal regions of the world, receiving rainfall between 1000 to 3000 mm and temperature ranging between 25 to 35 degrees centigrade. So 1/3 of the world's mangrove are found in Asia, followed by Africa and then North and Central America. So now moving to the significance of mangroves. Mangroves act as a buffer zone between the land and sea. So as they are present in the transition zone between land and sea, so it controls the speed of the sea waves. और इसीलिए बोला जाता है कि अगर हाई टाइड्स आ रही हैं या साइक्लोन आ रहा है तो मैंग्रोव्स जो हैं वो प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं कोस्टल एरियाज को, क्योंकि दे एक्ट एज ए बफर जोन. और मैंग्रोव्स अगर रिड्यूस हो रहे हैं तो कोस्टल एरियाज पे साइक्लोन का इम्पैक्ट ज़्यादा होता है. It also protect the land from erosion. It acts as a shield against cyclones, as I have told earlier, and it provides breeding ground for variety of marine animals. It provides life for fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and even mammals like tigers. As in Sundarban mangrove reserves, tigers are present. They are good source of timber, fuel and fodder. They are source for income generation, saves the marine diversity, purify the water by absorbing impurities and harmful heavy metals. And they are act as a source for recreation and tourism also. So these are the significance of mangrove forest. Now moving to the distribution of mangroves in India. First is Sundarban. It is the single largest block of tidal halophytic mangroves of the world, which is famous for the presence of Royal Bengal tiger and crocodiles. But the threat faced by these areas are that these are been clearing for agriculture use. Second is Bhitarkanika in Odisha, and it is the second largest in the Indian subcontinent. Then the next area is Godavari Krishna deltaic region in Andhra Pradesh. Then mangroves are found in Maharashtra, Goa and Karnataka, and very less are found in Kerala. And the next is in Gulf of Kutch and Kori Creek in Gujarat. These are also found in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So through this map you can see the areas which are famous for mangrove forest in India. The location of these areas can be asked in the examination. Now the mangrove species are, first is Sundari trees. Sundarban has been named after the Sundari trees only, and these are classified as endangered in the IUCN Red List. Then the other species are also present. You don't have to learn all the species, but the first important is Sundari trees. But due to natural and anthropogenic activities, mangroves are under threat. So some of the threats which are faced by mangroves include cyclones, typhoons and strong wave action, and especially due to the climate change, the intensity of cyclone and wave action is increasing. Second is overgrazing by livestock. Then insect pests such as wood borers, caterpillars and beetles damage the wood as well as the plants. But the threats due to human activities are decreasing the mangroves at high speed. First is deforestation, indiscriminate tree felling and lopping, indiscriminate conversion of mangroves on public lands for aquaculture and agriculture, encroachment due to tourism, lack of interest of private landowners, illegal large-scale collection of mangrove forest for medicines, which hinders their natural regeneration. Then the pollution from the industries or the sewage waste are obstructing the flow of water. So if you are reading threats related to mangroves, coral reefs or wetlands or any natural resources, then you have to divide it between the natural threats and the threats due to human activities. Now moving to the initiatives for mangrove conservation. So the first is Mangroves for Future. It is a collaboration between multiple partners including government, NGO and research institute. It is co-chaired by IUCN and UNDP. It is important and it promotes investment in coastal ecosystem for sustainable development, and mangroves are the flagship of the initiative, but it also covers coral reefs, estuaries, lagoons, sandy beaches, sea grasses and wetlands. So along with the conservation of mangroves, they are also conserving these biomes also. The member countries are India, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Indonesia, Maldives, Myanmar, Pakistan, Seychelles, Sri Lanka, Thailand and Vietnam. And the second initiative is Global Mangrove Alliance. It brings together technical experts, civil society organizations, governments, businesses, funding agencies and foundations for the conservation and restoration of mangroves. So these two initiatives are occurring in which India is a partner. Along with this, mangroves are protected through a range of legislation such as Coastal Regulation Zone Notification, Environmental Impact Assessment Studies, Indian Forest Act 1927 and Forest Conservation Act 1980. So under these legislations, mangroves are conserved in India. Now moving to the last topic, that is coral reefs. So what are coral reefs? Corals are the form of invertebrate animals, and the coral larvae get attached to rocks which lead to the formation of coral reefs. These are the underwater ecosystem which are formed due to the presence of symbiotic relationship between the coral reef and zooxanthellae. So now moving to the favorable conditions for the formation of coral reef. First is these occur in tropical oceans, warm tropical oceans with minimum temperature of 20 degree. Similarly, as you have read that mangroves are also present in tropical and subtropical region, similarly coral reefs can be found in warm tropical oceans only. And the oceanic water should be free of sedimentation. अगर पानी में sediment होंगे then it will choke the corals और coral bleaching हो जाएगी. Then there should be low salinity. Coral reef formation is very sensitive. अगर थोड़ा सा भी टेम्परेचर और सैलिनिटी में डिफरेंस होगा then it leads to coral bleaching, जो हम आगे पढ़ेंगे कि कोरल ब्लीचिंग क्या होता है. सो यू शुड नो द फेवरेबल कंडीशंस फॉर द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ कोरल रीफ एज इट कैन बी आस्क्ड इन द एग्जामिनेशन डायरेक्टली. द नेक्स्ट इज दे आर प्राइमरीली लोकेटेड बिटवीन 30 डिग्री नॉर्थ एंड 25 डिग्री साउथ वेयर वाटर टेम्परेचर इज above 20 degree centigrade, and the corals are divided in three parts. First is fringing reef, then second is barrier reef, and third is atolls. मीन्स फ्रिंजिंग रीफ्स होती हैं कि जब वो लैंड से अटैच होके कोरल्स बनती हैं तो उसे हम फ्रिंजिंग रीफ कहते हैं. सेकेंड इज बैरियर रीफ. इसमें कोरल आर फॉर्म नियर द लैंड, लेकिन लैंड और कोरल्स के बीच में एक लगून होता है या वाटर बॉडी होती है. सो दैट मीन तब उस कोरल रीफ्स को हम बैरियर रीफ्स कहते हैं. एंड थर्ड इज अटोल, कि अगर फ्रिंजिंग रीफ जो है वो वॉल्केनिक आइलैंड या कोई पर्टिकुलर आइलैंड के किनारे बनी हुई है और वो आइलैंड सबमर्ज हो गया है तो अटोल रहे, सो द रीफ विल बी प्रेजेंट एंड इट विल सिंपली इन द सर्कुलर फॉर्म. वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड द टाइप्स ऑफ कोरल रीफ्स थ्रू दिस एग्जाम्पल. फ्रिंजिंग रीफ्स की इट इज अटैच टू द शोर लाइन. सेकेंड इज द बैरियर रीफ, कि कोरल रीफ और शोर के बीच में एक वाटर लगून आ गया है. एंड थर्ड इज अटोल, कि जहाँ पे ये जो एरिया था दिस कैन बी एन आइलैंड और द माउंटेन, सो ये सबमर्ज हो गया है और इसके किनारे जो है वो रीफ फॉर्मेशन हो गया है. सो दिस इज नोन एज अटोल. नाउ मूविंग टू द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ कोरल रीफ्स इन इंडिया. इट इज फाउंड इन गल्फ ऑफ कच्छ, then in the west coast of India near the Lakshadweep Islands, Gulf of Mannar, Pak Bay and Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. You can see this through the map. Then what are the uses of coral reefs? It removes and recycles CO2, a greenhouse gas. It protects the shore from erosion, similarly with same as the wetlands and mangroves. They are home to 4,000 species and it provides medicines, and coral skeletons are used in reconstructive bone surgery. So these are the benefits of coral reefs. But the coral reefs are facing threats mainly due to destructive fishing practices, overfishing, careless tourism, pollution, sedimentation, coral mining and climate change. As you have read that coral reefs grow only in favorable conditions, so the pollution, sedimentation, climate change are changing the temperature and the salinity of the region, as well as the overfishing and destructive fishing practices are leading to destruction of, and when due to these threats corals are destructed, so this phenomena is known as coral bleaching. As the color of the corals changes because they live in symbiotic relationship with zooxanthellae algae, and due to the changes in the temperature, salinity or other threats, the algae dies, which cause the coral bleach to turn completely white. and this is known as coral bleaching. So what are the causes for coral bleaching? Changes in ocean temperature due to climate change, pollution and sewage runoff, extreme low tides, xenobiotics. Xenobiotics means कि कोई infection अगर हो जाए. Then there is coral disease, then coral mining and unsustainable research pattern. So these are the threats which are faced by coral reefs and that leading to coral bleaching. For the conservation of coral reefs, International Coral Reef Initiative have been taken. Its aim is to raise global awareness on the plight of coral reefs around the world and promoting the best practices in coral reef management and ensuring that coral reefs are included in relevant international deliberations. It is the only global entity solely devoted to coral reefs. Now the last topic is what are ecologically sensitive zones. Ecologically sensitive zones act as a buffer for protection of protected areas such as national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Means जब हम नेशनल पार्क और वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी के किनारे एक बफर एरिया करते हैं एंड देन उसके बाद जो है वो विलेज या ह्यूमन सेटलमेंट शुरू होता है तो उसको हम इकोलॉजिकली सेंसिटिव जोन्स कहते हैं. एंड द एक्टिविटीज अराउंड दिस जोन्स आर प्रोटेक्टेड ताकि कंजर्वेशन ऑफ नेशनल पार्क्स एंड वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज हो सके. सो the important thing is it is notified under Section 3 of the Environment Protection Act 1986 and it classifies activities in 3 categories. The prohibited activities will be commercial mining, setting of industries causing pollution and establishment of major hydroelectric project. So in the ecologically sensitive zones, these activities are totally prohibited. Then second is regulated. Establishment of hotel and resorts, electrical cables, drastic change of agriculture system, these are regulated and permitted are on agriculture and horticulture practices by local communities and organic farming. But many states are opposed to ecological sensitive zones because of the presence of minerals and resources. So in this video we have covered wetlands, mangroves and coral reefs. So I hope you have found the video useful for the prelims examination and the PDF of this material will be available on our website www.ishelpdesk.in and along with this PDF we have also uploaded the conservation steps taken by the government such as Project Tiger, Project Rhino, Project Elephant. So because these are the factual information and we have not designed the video on this, and along with this we will also provide a list of species and national parks in news from the last 1 year for the prelims examination. Thank you. Thank you. Hope you have liked the video. For any query, you can mail us at info@ishelpdesk.in or WhatsApp at 85860 55783. And for more guidance, please visit our website. Thank you.